few people getting this message. We want to prove to the whole world that the impossible dream can happen.
You're it. And Damon's it. I'll tell you what's going on here. Did you see that Emaxian map that we're talking about? This is the way that we're gonna, start the program each time with that map so that we can remember that we are here to see things differently. Just by looking different, taking another look at the way the world could be. This is the last flat map that was ever patented, and it's a Dymaxion map designed by Buckminster Fuller. So we start with the understanding of that we're on a spaceship called Earth, that we just call Earth. I like to call it Mother Eartha Gaia. And I like to see it as a one whole Earth, because that reminds me of what I learned in school, which is that whole systems. We are part of a whole system. The planet is the home. There's just this much water, just that much water on this planet. There's no more water than you can see on that map. That's a finite element, okay? Some of it, and only a little bit, is drinkable. Most of it's saline. So we have to use our intellect to make drinkable water out of saline water. But we can do that. Water, food. The byproduct of clean water is food, okay? If we do it properly and we purify the water, then we get a whole rainforest in return. You see that? If you look at that, map that I showed you, you can see what the green is. Like, look at the green one, the colors of the green, please. Anyway, so we want to look at not the wood one, the green one behind us. If you can just isolate that map, would be great. The whole thing, please.
Yeah, it'll take me a second. Sorry. Yeah, keep talking.
Okay, the more important one. The wood one is not. Okay. But anyway, just another way of looking. The wood one is just another way of looking at it. Okay. And there's so many ways to see, because if you remember, if anybody's familiar with GIS, give me a like and give me a up thumb in the comments section, because GIS is about how mapping is the way forward. If we want to look at a place and how it's going to be affected by whatever concepts that we have that are big, that's the way. You see, when you look at that, you can easily, well, the first thing you do is you see, okay, where are the areas that grow food? And with the exception of the Antarctica, it's showing you underneath the ice, this is what the continent actually looks like. It's not trying to say that it's green under there or it's part of some kind of subterranean, but it could be. Underneath the ice, there's literally potential for caverns of areas that could be allowing subterranean species or civilizations, if you believe in that type of thing. One of the theories about South Pole is that it's an entrance portal for the world, because of people. Anyway, it's another story. But looking at it differently, that gives us a chance to really see this thing in perspective, and to see that we are just a small planet. But we have plenty, obviously, there's not a human being on every square foot. There's plenty of green area. If we organize it properly, we can grow enough food for everyone to eat.
Well, yes.
Don't you think?
Absolutely. I mean, and you're talking about the past. I mean, this is not something that's not known.
Well, everybody can do it,
people buried under the ice, just like the mammoths that have been, dug from under the ice. They
you see how now
DNA.
But isn't that cool that you can see how big Antarctica really is? It's the largest continent,
and you can see the history from the past, and you can bring it into the present.
That's right.
And we can go into the future.
That's right.
With it.
That's right.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Yes.
So we're here to talk about last week on One Whole Earth, and epic things are happening now. But remember that with whatever's happening on Earth, 5 things are all we need: housing, water, food, energy, and the ability to do something. The mind gives us the ability to do, something with harm, something without harm. ourselves
focus.
first.
That's called focus.
Focus.
On passion and a uniqueness that we need to do with our God spark particle. In this
How
life.
do you ignite your God spark particle, and how do you bring it as forward and to as many people as possible in the shortest amount of time that we have left on the planet?
We're a part of source energy, and we just want to give it
Back.
right.
Well,
Give it back, and
first we have to accept it.
We have to accept it,
right?
Absolutely.
And then once we accept it, then we can and that gives us Trismegistus power.
Absolutely, Lance.
See, this is the real power.
We have to accept it, and then we have to give it back.
I'm not even having to. I don't even have to kind of convince this person.
Yes.
That's what's getting to be so cool.
Yes.
So over the next week, we're going to be talking with Ben Davidson. We're going to be going out to the Observer Ranch and bringing him a inflatable house for his guests so they can use it. And he might be able to use it for emergency, just in case, whatever kind of thing. But it just, and I want to tell him about the Dymaxion map and how we're going to watch. We're basically going to play pin the tail on the pole shift. I want to see where the pole shift is going to happen on the Dymaxion map, and I want that's what I'm covering. That's my big thing. So that'll be next week. Last week on WholEarth.
Yes.
This week we're going to talk about the fact that things are starting to crumble. The audacity of this goofball in charge to bring all his thugs and thuggery was just so obvious in that State of the Union. First, it started with that Zelensky, right? It started with Zelensky. Was Zelensky before or after the State of the Union?
Yeah. No, the whole Zelensky.
It was shock and awe.
Yeah. When they had gotten to the little argument,
right here.
That was before. That was ridiculous. Like,
okay, so anyway,
this
is what we did. So listen, how you never treat an ally in an okay. This is just like if you were.
I could not believe that.
Basic high school.
I could not believe it.
This is like high school, 101 on how to negotiate. You don't just like pull the guy's covers and tell him he's an ugly guy and where's your suit? Like you're out of place. Like you're dressed down. I mean, honestly,
what is that?
No. What happened is
petty.
What happened is we saw people who have no integrity. Up against a person with full integrity.
Exactly.
That's how simple it was.
Exactly.
And everyone saw it. And that's it.
Yeah,
I mean, two goofballs. Okay. And this is the weirdest thing. Okay. Let's keep this picture for a minute. But you've got to hear me out with this. Okay. This is the weirdest
Look at him. He has his hand over his heart and he's pointing on him.
I'm not disagreeing with any of that. But this guy, this JD Vance guy is somebody we don't know who he is. This guy is a shapeshifter. If you've ever seen one, he is the weirdest guy because the rhetoric before he got swept up into the whole.
No, you said it right. No, he's a shape. He is not honorable.
Well, that's part of it, though. But
he's basically I don't want to say it live.
You get vodka in there or something.
No, I don't. No, this is just straight up.
Okay, so here's the thing then. So what's going on? He is a shapeshifter. He is married to a very liberal lesbian woman who basically in her speech explained in a loving way that he was just a regular guy and one of the dudes and nothing to be afraid of, really. He likes to make his sandwich with butter side up instead of butter side down. The fact that he's in there playing the thug gives me but here's what I want to do with JD Vance is I want to conjure a different kind of story for him. You basically accepted the fact that 5 things we need, all living things need the same 5 things. Right?
Oh, absolutely.
So hear me out on this other side.
Yeah.
Remember, the other part of it is we follow the laws of Hermes.
I'm just saying, JD Vance is right.
Remember the laws of Hermes?
He doesn't even know.
Remember the
laws of Hermes? Yeah.
Okay, remember? Okay, we got them all, right? Okay, so polarity is what's messing with us right now. Okay, the polarity, the 2 sides of every coin.
Yeah.
Except when they're two-faced. And they have 4 sides. and they can switch back and forth. So I want to give JD Vance a different version of his story. Okay. Everyone is convinced that this guy is a complete loathsome person. He's gone from a avid Trump hater. He said in several times before he was caught up in the Trumposphere that this guy's got to go. He's a Yale trained lawyer. Even the D's get degrees. Obviously, is he a D student? He may be a D student. Who you can still, if you have the money, how do you get in and how do you get through it? Something Yale law. Now, I don't know how he doesn't come to the same conclusion that you and I. We're just simpletons. We're regular folks, right? We are Trismegistus, but that means anybody can do it. If we can do it, anybody can do it, right?
No, we're regular folks, but no, people are.
But listen, hear me out. Don't stop me yet. Let me get to my point, and then we go.
Yes.
So we were talking about JD Vance moving through this thing and shape shifting and being all this thing, but like in the core of it, he is again, what we as simple people came to the conclusion is there's these laws, these hermetic principles that
You're not simple.
apply to
That's
all
fine.
things equally. Yes, I'm pretty simple.
You're not simple.
I'm just a regular guy. Stop it. So because if you want to argue with me on that, then it's going to blow my whole argument out. If we're not everyone, then, like if two people are the same, they're the fucking same, dude. That's a Lincoln argument.
We're the same. Neither one of us are simple.
And none of us are simple.
We're
That's right.
both.
Nobody's,
We're both.
no one is
multidimensional.
Okay, thank you.
So keep going.
JD Vance goes
JD
to law
Vance.
school, learns the law, starts out understanding that Trump is the worst enemy of democracy. Then somehow, I guess, goes and if his wife is gay and likes women, maybe he's also a closeted gay person. Maybe he likes to do things with other boys or men. You know, those are the guys that always come out of the locker room the most. You know, he just put some, cellophane or something in between the couch and it feels just like it. So he's good to go. I mean, that's not really it's like,
okay.
Except telling other people that they can't do the thing on the couch. That's the problem. Okay. All of a sudden, before he was like, you want to sleep with women? Sleep with women. You want to be cool, right?
The couch is the couch. Hey,
and all of a sudden now he's going to create laws that he's the next in line. And that motherfucker is fully syphililoid, a disease waiting to die right now. Trump is like on his lap. You're watching a man syphililoid. Okay, this is what a syphililoid person does. And I believe, that Trump is just, and we all see him as Putin's puppet. And he's shown himself as Putin's puppet, right? Okay, you cannot lick, you cannot have any more flavor of a Russian borscht on your face than you can if you're Trump. And then JD Vance is right in there, like cheering it on, like he's down. And then they're like, the only guy in the room that actually went to school and maybe passed a course was Rubio, and he couldn't even imagine what was going on. He just saw his whole career tumbling down in front of him. Okay, and then the whole room was just aghast, right? So they set that up. Then he goes in and he lies 500 times in front of and then you got these people with a black fucking. It's the weirdest theater going on here in Congress too. And when are we going to start counting those votes? Remember the votes that didn't get counted? The 480,000 votes that didn't get counted?
You're fired.
And now
everyone's
3
fired.
times that many have been fired, man. And then you got to go back and register to vote.
What?
Make sure you register to vote. What are you going to do? Now we got to do some more stuff. You just stole everything from us, but we still got to do the work. Yes, they stole everything from you and you still have to do the work.
This hired.
What?
How about you're hired?
Well, you see, remember, my solution was to hire everybody back at 120%. Give them a 20%
you are.
Give them a 20% gratuity to say, I'm sorry for the inconvenience, if nothing else.
Yeah.
Everybody come back to work. We're going to give you some more money. Oof. that takes a lot of the wind out of the sails. Remember, this is what Jim and what happened in Huckleberry Finn. Remember this? This is how we solve the problem, Mark Twain style. Is we basically explained to Jim that we were just all part of a bad experiment gone wrong. We didn't mean to hurt him, and we apologized, number one. And now we're going to pay you some reparations, number two. Okay, it always helps. Okay, the apology was, I mean, you could have stopped there. Jim would have been excited with the apology. He would have been happy to have the apology. But instead, we went and paid him some money, and he said thank you, and he took the money. Okay.
He would have
It's
said,
like
"I wanted to
still-
legalize some tobacco."
No, you don't know the story the way I do. But anyway,
I
the point is that we were able to say we're sorry to Jim. Okay, and that's what we have to do. We have to say sorry to people we hurt, and we have to make it right in some way. So, you know, money's not going to, it's just going to help. Then we go back and start looking at how this planet can work for everybody and how we can get along with our neighbors without killing anybody, without war. Like what? Trade war is still a war. If you call it by a war, is that a hurtful thing or a helpful thing? Like a war against war? Can we do a war?
I think trade is trade. You know,
Can you do
like
a war?
let's do. I think equal trade is good. But
Fair
when they
trade
call
is
it
what
a
it
war,
is. It's called fair trade.
it means
Okay,
I
fair
need
and
to
equitable.
battle against you and me. But
So-
you know, a fair trade is a fair trade.
Okay, but the thing that they just are attacking, which is really weird, which is, you know, DEI, which is, you know, inclusion and equity, and what was that first part? D, the D. You know, anyway,
People want to
inclusion.
make it a trade war, but
It's a
yes,
war against
yes.
race. It's a war against people. This has nothing to do with a trade war. It's just a war, I mean, against its own people. The people who suffer are U.S. people. I mean, that's why actually
No,
what's
but
happening, hold on. What's happening if after this first month, 2 months of sheer terror, we're finally having some courts that are standing up. So Coney Barrett is actually coming forward now and saying she's not going to put up with this any longer. Yeah,
And who is she?
she's one of the Supreme Court justices.
Yeah. Why is
siding
she not putting up with? She's not putting up with what?
Was appointed by Trump to destroy the government. She's not going for it. And why are you smoking in front of people? Okay, that could. Oh, that's tobacco. It was just tobacco.
Yeah, it's my
Anyway.
my Popeye.
We were just talking about this
It's my
before we
Popeye
came
pipe.
on. You didn't.
That's my Popeye pipe. Yeah.
Okay, you didn't actually
My
talk
Popeye.
to me about. We talked. Well, Supreme Court is flipping away from this Trump, you know, ridiculous mandate into a more of a. He's putting a little bit of a stopgap, a little bit of a side rail on what's going on, which is, I mean, slightly hopeful. Remember, to a large degree, there's more people coming on. So I got coming in. Anyway, it's going to be a nightmare. What else was on that list, Renee?
We were talking about mass deportations, tariffs with Canada, Mexico, World War III, turning against the Allies, and how happy Putin is right now.
There you go. Nothing really else to talk about. At the end of the day, we're going to need the same 5 things. Remember that. You're going to need a place to sleep. You're going to need clean water and food. You're going to need energy to do stuff if you want to do anything. So we're going to have to reduce, reuse, recycle, go to Reclaim Threads, take a look around and get some great clothing. And you can get me by leaving a comment, and we can set up an appointment to talk about some type of consultation. Because what we could talk about is how you can get the thing that you need to live in happily ever after. You bring the idea, we'll bring it home. What else we got out there? What did I forget? Renee?
Do you have time for a couple questions from our TikTok audience?
Please, yes, let's do.
Okay, TikTok audience is saying, why is Trump doing this? Is he sold out? Or is he selling? Is he sold out, I think?
Yeah, if you can smoke tobacco, so can I.
right? If you can smoke
Who?
tobacco,
His
so-
Trump sold out? Is that
it's
what
obvious.
you said?
Trump is sold out. We are no longer the United States of America. We're actually the 51st state of Russia. Okay. As far as Trump
let
is
me just
concerned,
say, hell yeah, Trump sold out.
it's, as far as Trump is concerned, we are working for Vladimir.
Is it not obvious he's all about the fucking money?
What do you think? What else? You got another question?
Yeah. So Nancy said, I'm in Canada and we are all livid right now. Boycott USA.
By all means. I mean, we've never been in this position before, but to be most hated, we've got a guy. Obviously, he's run amok, and it's not what the rest of us feel, but this is who they selected for us. I think you should insist on our vote being recounted too. I mean, many votes that were black and blue were simply eliminated from the rolls, and we got gerrymandered out of a president to won by maybe 450,000 votes. So, I mean, this whole thing has been somehow orchestrated to get us into a situation. The fact that you're angry is just that makes me see like you're pressing your button. Canada has all those 5 things. You don't need to worry about us. We'll be fine, and you'll be fine. We'll all be fine. Stay in your home, grow your garden, make sure you have clean water and food, right? Switch to solar, local energy, and then live happily ever after. I mean, just stay with it. Don't worry about anything, really. This is all just going to pass over, but sooner the better. What do you think?
I think you're right. Everyone is thinking about going to a little bit of homesteading because you got to think about your current situations and things that you're going through in your current lifetime and what's going on. And I think there is going to be a bit of a turmoil that is going to be come happening throughout this world in this field of time and energy.
Okay.
And
So here's the thing.
What we need to concentrate, be aware of what's going on around us, obviously, but concentrate on what we're doing with our lives in the midst of it.
Okay.
And to balance that is a very important key.
See, now this is really where the alchemy comes into play. This is where the mechanics of the whole thing is. I mean, it's coming to me loud and clear as I'm hearing you describe it. And I'm hearing despair from one of our listeners, and this is ridiculous. First of all, you've got to give yourself a little pat in the back and say, whatever you're feeling, it's okay. Take a deep breath, right? That's what we do. Take a deep breath. Remind us that we're just living. And thank God we're not in the war, and we're not going to be in the war. We're just not going to do this thing. Then we want to give ourselves a little slap in the head and say, forget all that nasty, angry shit. Okay? We're going to get fine. Okay? Obviously, this is some lunatic that has no idea what he's doing ever. Okay? And he's obvious. He's just going more and more. He's really, again, you're seeing the end of syphilis as it takes over a person's brain in old age. He is ready to drop. Now, J.D. Vance is going to be moving forward. Obviously, he's the chosen one. The question is, will he double flip? I want to see J.D. Vance double flip. I would love to see him say, okay, but I am a Christian and I do love my wife and I love other men and I love other women and men and I love my couch. And I think everyone should have a chance to love their couch the way I love my couch. So I'm going to stop all this ridiculous nonsense and I'm going to call to order, let's just do the best thing we got to do. I'm going to call the Republicans back to the Lincoln Republicans that they started out as and remind people the emancipation of the entire country includes the inclusion and no borders with Mexico or Canada or anything. And we put back the label of Gulf of Mexico because that's just what the hell it's called. Going back, we have to go back. Now we have to go back with favor because we can't just go back. It doesn't just go back. And everybody takes a hit. Thank you very much for destroying our lives for 2 or 3 months. You need to pay up. Okay, that's a simple deal. 10% of whatever you say that Elon Musk is worth right now goes directly into the public coffers. Social Security, right into Social Security, funded forever. Whatever you think, take 10% from Jeff Bezos, whatever you say, whatever he says that he's worth right now, 10% goes into Social Security, funds it forever. The other 10% from whatever the other goofball oligarch, if you want to do business in this country, you have to pay up. It has to be in taxes, and you have to pay and fund these resources so the rest of us can eat and sleep and have an enjoyable life here. You don't get set to own the planet, okay, unless you share it with the rest of us, okay? One check from one of these goofballs, we could own our planet back, and everyone could have enough money to move the economy in such a way that there's ebb and flow and currency is moving freely.
Isn't that what the United Nations is supposed to be about?
That was what it was supposed to. That was the idea of what a United Nations. That's the name. In name only.
Nations.
Okay, but the question is, right? Always the question: is it a physical pole shift or is it a magnetic pole? Of course.
The United Nations is uniting all the nations around the globe.
That's a magnetic pole shift. That's a magnanimous pole shift. That's a magnanimous pole shift. Right. There's plenty for all people. Put down your weapons. Everyone take 10 deep breaths. Look at the person next to you and say, forgive me. And then, of course, the next thing is to be grateful that you are alive another day. And how can I be of service? What have I done? I'm not obviously guilty of something as a human being. Let's bring that with us, okay? We are going to accept that we are shameful, fearful, loathsome, people, guilty, fearful people. Shameful, fearful, guilty people. We accept that about ourselves. That's the dark side of us. Everyone has that ability to, right? But that side of me is always going to go. It's my strength that pulls me to the light. It's my strength that tells me that I'm not going to go this idea of I'm going to kill some Canadians this weekend. I mean, that's ridiculous. For a minute, I thought I might, want to get a gun and shoot a MAGA, right?
It's the river of love.
Coming across the Rio Grande, you want to go across
the river of
the Virgin River in, Nevada.
The river of peace and love and flow.
See, but that's ridiculous, right? Slap that thing. Now you can go to a movie and see some killing. If you really need that kind of thing, you can buy that entertainment and have that go and look at that objectively and say, is that how I want to live my life? Would I really want to put my child in harm's way of Prometheus or, of the alien or the alien or this other thing? I mean, only one guy makes it through. I mean, I'm watching Hercules. His entire army's blown away. Him and his buddy are like battling everybody. He's the only guy that can survive.
Because everyone makes their decision.
Everyone has to make their own path.
Yes.
And we're just saying if you stay with the light more times than going with the dark, you'll end up with a better result.
Oh, absolutely.
Just a better result. That's it.
Well, absolutely. Yes.
That's simple.
And positive equals positive. And even though magnets are like negative attracts positive, but no, positive equals positive in growth. Right. Harmony. So, yeah.
So anyway,
yeah. Moving forward.
Yeah. So what else do we leave off the table? What do you think, Renee? Come on, help us out.
So someone named Val in Australia said, "Who is really running the U.S. government?"
Well, who do you think? Who does she think?
I have no idea.
I'm not going to do that. Hey Val, how are you? Thanks for tuning in. Must be early morning for you. Like this first thing in the morning for a person from Australia, I think, right? Anyway, good morning. Good on you. I love Australia. Sydney is one of my favorite towns. I got to go there one time. I thought I was in heaven. They're the most beautiful people, just gorgeous. And architecture and stuff too, you know. And then the Darling, that whole side of it's like a lot like it's like that California on the East Coast.
Oh, when I think about Australia, I think about the surfing, and I
Right.
think about the didgeridoo
Okay.
from the outback.
See that?
Yeah.
So anyway, so who's running the show? The people are running the show. So this is the thing. We were always in charge anyway, but now we are like obviously the voice of reason is moving forward. The question, I mean, the outbreaks on the cities, that up and down main streets, USA, are really being resonating. You know, we're not interested in this type of behavior, and none of us were raised to accept kings or oligarchs or whoever thinks they're in charge. But you know, now we're going to have to be a little bit more creative. But I'll tell you, the folks, you're from Australia, you're familiar with what's going on in Hong Kong and what's going on in Taiwan, and our Chinese brothers and sisters over there are really creative with the cell phone technology and communicating dissent. We're not even sophisticated. We're just going to go on the street and but I don't know how long that's going to go. So, you know, ultimately we have to go back to the polls and start getting a little bit of a foothold into Congress and the Senate. If we can get a majority in there, then we can start to turn this thing around. And now we've seen a chink in the Supreme Court. So, I mean, Coney Barrett is the female who was hand selected. She was against abortion, but she's definitely not down for losing it. I mean, like as a Supreme Court justice, you take the oath. See, all these people who took the oath to protect the Constitution are in violation of breaching the oath to protect the Constitution. And we've yet to figure that out, that we need to just simply call them out and purge the entire Congress and Senate. If you took your oath, I think everybody needs to stand up once again, seat by seat, member by member, and pledge allegiance to this country and the Constitution. And if you won't, then you need to be fired. That's where the Pledge of Allegiance is really designed, okay? It's not for the kids in school who fucking memorize that piece of crap. It's for the people who say that they represent us in Congress and the Senate, whether they're blue or they're red. Are you with me there? You see it?
Blue, red. Okay. Yes, I'm with you. And people need to call out the bullshit.
That's what we're here to do in our
that-
small way. I mean, we got a couple
And that's
people.
I'm just gonna say it straight up. People need to call out the bullshit lies, so everything can come to the truth. So we can wake up and take off the blindfold and dig deep
Well,
down.
the blindfold is to us that, and I know you know as Canadians or whoever you are, I mean, give me a thumbs up if this resonates with you. If you're still listening and you really want to talk with me, this is the thing. But I need to know that you're actually in the room and acting. So give me a thumbs if I'm going to tell you this thing. Okay. If let's look at the top map of that again, that Dymaxion map. Let's take another look at this. I want you to really iron this into your head. Can I get this up, Renee? The colored one? You see that? There is plenty on this planet for every living thing on this planet. Let's have another talk about that. Let's think about that for a second while I smoke some of this tobacco here. This is really good. It's a locally grown tobacco. It's medicinal. It cures cancer and anxiety and helps me concentrate. Helps me concentrate on the fact that that is a map of a spaceship we call Earth. And that spaceship is designed to feed and water every life form that was brought here and has created from this complete design of perfection. We live on a planet of perfection. Don't change it yet. Don't change it yet. Keep us out. In fact, take me off. I can talk about. There you go. I mean, I just want you to drink this in. This is the real point of this whole point, is that we are just a small speck of dust going around 60,000 miles an hour.
But a very important speck of dust.
Well, it's only important to us.
No.
Now, give me an up thumb if it's important to you. If you think Spaceship Earth is important to you and other living things, if you have a pet, give me a thumbs up. I want to know if you think that it's important that that world stays important for your pet.
If our speck of dust bumps into somebody else, then it's an important speck of dust. So,
Thanks. Yeah, pat myself on the back.
yes,
Give myself okay.
you're
we'll go back
a
up.
very important speck of dust. Once. Yeah.
No, I'm just a greasy spot.
No, you're an important speck of
Just a
dust.
drop in a bucket of human grease, dude.
I
mean,
beg,
am
I
nothing.
beg to differ.
Look, mostly water,
I beg to differ.
just like you. I'm mostly water. I
And
completely.
we all
I'm
are.
fungus
We're
and
water, but we're specks of dust as well.
So you imagine fungus and protein and water with a big octopus on your brain with tentacles that go down into it gets divided into our fingers and our toes and everything. That's who we are. And so octopi are brothers for sure. That is what happens. And if you watch an octopi or a cuttlefish or any of those, they move in the way they change their the decor.
Yes, I used to catch them from
Did you?
first schools. Yes,
Did you?
I used to take them and show them.
Don't you feel that? Like
teacher.
it's just like it's going through the
No.
emotions and like the chemical change to go and all that.
Yes, because they are chameleons.
They're chameleons.
They adapt to their environment.
And that's
I've
the
had
way
an
we
octopus
feel
that
too.
got out of its
Oh, yeah.
environment onto the carpet, and it completely looked like the carpet.
Wow.
And I almost stepped on it. And I
Oh
was like,
my
wait a
God.
minute, there's a couple black eyeballs right there. And so I did not step down. And then I
See?
went and picked it up. And I'm like, that's my octopus. It got out of the cage.
Yep.
And I put it back in the water, and
Was
it
he
still
happy?
lived. Yeah.
Did you have a whole conversation with it? Did you know when it was
I
happy?
put it in the water, back in the tank, and then I put it back in the ocean. after
Because
that.
there's a guy on YouTube who has an octopus,
was-
and he has
it
got
was-
a whole thing with his octopus. He puts stuff together, like makes puzzles and everything. He's like, "Oh,
no,
this is happy."
they're
He
amazing.
makes puzzles for his octopus.
The
So anyway, the
octopus are
octopus is
amazing.
our brain. So
I feel
you're
you.
connected there.
I
Okay, that's the
understand
thing.
what you're saying.
So they do that. So we are part of that whole thing. And now we're just in this other body that looks like this, but because something took the octopus and said, "Oh, that'll fucking work as a brain," and they stuck it in this rigid form. And then, for 400,000 years now, do you remember our friend from the Austin professor, what's his name? Roy Casagrande? Okay, his discussion on DNA is really fascinating. I highly, strongly, if you can put Casagrande, maybe put his casagrande.org or something on the down thing if you want to hear more. But his thing is about how, like for 400,000 years, we have been the same skeletal structure. And only in the last 12,000 years, we're supposed to pick up some tools and start doing agriculture and build pyramids and huge monuments just fucking on a weekend in just a side job. We like being hunter-gatherers and being one with the planet. That really functions for us. Okay, we can do that too as human beings. We can tribe up. We can share things. Maybe there's a whole time of no war and just enough. Everybody has enough. Can you imagine that? Can't even imagine that. Something happened where we.
But there's
switched
always
that.
a little evolution in between the souls too, on not to eliminate creation of intelligence.
See, that's Lemurian. The Lemurian
Okay, not
times
to-
are the longest time of the time when we were
Yeah.
jungle people, pretty much. And this last bit would be the Atlantean time, in which something came from outside
Yes.
and did all this
There is
architecture
a
in
creation
front
of
of
a
us.
jump in intelligence.
I mean, it wasn't really us doing it. We're like, oh, you know, and then the Neanderthal was literally having sex with human beings. Like, we're eating us sometimes, and they were having sex with us sometimes, and they were making hybrid, bodies and things. Okay,
and then
there became,
and that's our we have an evolution. Yes, we have
And then,
an evolution,
because-
and they're just like an experiment, like
Well,
a human experiment.
According to Casagrande, we started settling and having a Europe. The civilization began with this whole thing about agriculture and having to stay and protect the crops. But the same thing happens for Neanderthal. If you're in a cave and you have to protect your cave from these scavenging, Homo sapiens coming in over the hill, these really fucking intelligent human beings who just want to get in there and they're gonna kill you.
But you know what I'm saying? Like a
I don't
human
even know.
experiment, right?
Are they gonna even, are we attracted to Neanderthal women? Do we like that hairy bit? Just somewhat? I guess so. I mean, it's part of it. Like, we just do it. I don't even know. The hairy bits.
I do. I know. I'm not even gonna respond to
Just
that.
saying, you're not going to respond to that. Okay, that's enough. So
Okay.
with that, TMI will probably get taken off. This was not made for kids. You know that going in. So
It's hilarious.
anything else? What do we else? Come on, Renee. You know we're missing a lot of stuff that happened.
We're just getting a lot of LOLs and laughing emojis right now. People are appreciating.
And we have an outbreak of measles. There's just nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that picture. Oh, and then bird flu and measles and RFK is involved, and he just like, whatever you want to do, man. Drink urine. Drink your own urine. You'll be fine.
Oh my God.
Urine therapy is actually that's one of the better therapies, to be honest with you. I was making a joke about it, but it's been, it's very.
You know what I just heard of recently?
Breathing and urine.
I have heard of fecal transfer,
No.
and it was freaking gross.
It's not good. No. I don't
No.
want to talk about that.
Yeah.
Thank you. On to the next subject.
Gross,
Okay,
right?
we just got caught off.
Yeah.
Okay, every station has just dropped us. Thank you. They call him Damon. You should call him Demon.
No. I heard that on another station.
Okay, well, I'm not talking about it. We're just dropping that whole thing. Just go off. You see that whole, that blue over there? See the color blue? All right, talk about it. All right, that's enough. So anything else, Renee? Come on,
no.
help us out. Obviously we're stinking in the mud.
There's a guy from Denmark. I don't know if he's still there, but he was commenting earlier, and he was just saying that there are some people in Europe who like Donald Trump, and there's a right-wing movement in Europe. So I don't know if he's still online, but he did say that there's starting to be some kind of a right.
I don't think so, man. Like, let's not go there. I'm not going to go there. So what? Try it. Go ahead.
There is, and I according to the news, I know that energy is happening.
It's not going to work.
They're going for it because
it's not going to work this time.
Because of the global. How can I word it?
Look, you're seeing somebody get sucked in. He's getting sucked into.
I am.
You see that? Do you see how I'm like not even? I'm not.
No, I just understand it. I'm just trying to word it in a certain way. Yes, Europe accepted it, and it's because of the whole political trap, and because of at the same time as well.
I don't think so for a minute.
They want.
Okay, so
they don't want Trump. They don't want Ukraine to get bombed the fuck out of.
You still got a long way to go in history class for you, Mr. Damon.
They don't want Ukraine to get bombed the hell out of. They want to save the people, because innocent people are dying. And yes, they are agreeing to it. because of a lot of political drama, but also because of other
All right, can I
humanitarian things as well.
can I slip
Humanitarian, yes.
I appreciate that because that's like an
Yes.
everyman, observation about what might be going on here. The thing. Okay, so he's saying there's a right wing movement, and I'm saying no question there's a right wing movement. With it, will it? It didn't win last time. It's not going to win again because we are, and now Europe has been dealing with the shame of that event. And if you don't know people from Germany, then you don't know what I'm talking. If you don't know people from Poland, then you don't know what I'm talking. I happen to know people from Germany and Poland who showed me and told me that they hold this shame upon their shoulders from the last event that happened. That is just like, when you talk to Native Americans about either the Wounded Knee massacre that happened before, after the Battle of Little Bighorn, or the recent one, which
What does it matter about the people's emotions that they're holding from the past?
That's right. They're holding from the past.
Why
They
does it matter?
hold from the past as if it was yesterday. And we as Americans are trained somehow to shuck that off like it doesn't matter. These people, if you bring this up,
why does it matter?
If you bring it up, their wound is so deep that it
needs to be healed somehow for them, I guess, right?
Well, there you go. Now, do you heal it by going into a dark, Aryan brotherhood, or you go through the forgiveness and the plan of the Christ consciousness, which is to accept that you're, shameful person, guilty person, fearful person, accept yourself, and then forgive yourself for being all that, and then love yourself for being all that, and then help another person do all that I just told you.
Exactly. You just explained it all.
I did.
Okay.
That's the mechanics of it. It's simple mechanics of it. And that's what we play. That's what we practice. Okay. That's the only thing that's going to work.
That's good.
Is that particular line of thinking.
Yeah.
And then God help us, because that's a fucking hard thing to do.
It is.
It might be the hardest thing you'll ever do, because the easy thing to do is to go get a gun and shoot a couple of fucking MAGAs in the head just because.
Thank you.
Right?
Yeah. But no, you explained it.
See, we can't do that. It's never going to work.
Yeah.
It's never going to work.
No.
It's never going to work.
Exactly.
Could never work. And
So
all the movies in China will never tell you that it's going to work. I mean, all the movies in the head of who's the big sci-fi guy? DC Comics. Okay, every possible combination of shit that could happen in a DC comic book, never going to work. It's got to go to love, because love is the only way. You're going around spiral, and it's a vortex. You cannot go against the vortex. The vortex is an upward spiral. It's not a backward spiral. There's only forward. Time is in a positive vortex. It can only go forward. It can't go back. So you can only, even though we look back, it's still not going back. It's still going forward.
But if we're balanced in a metaphorical way, we might always be in the eye of the storm.
Well, that's pretty good. It's pretty much all you can say. The eye of the storm is a small planet rotating. Our moon doesn't rotate. Our moon is set up to counterbalance the rotation of our planet in a weighted form, in a perfectly designed weighted form, exactly where it needs to be between the sun and our Earth to keep us stable, so that we can have an equator, and then we can have that's the thing that
the eye of the storm is balanced. It's the yin yang.
Because it's in the eye. Is going to limit the amount of damage by the poles actually colliding. I think in days before the moon was set there, we had these pole shifts with cataclysmic 3-day darkness times. The moon has been set there to mitigate that entire experience. You wait and see. That's what's going to be the miracle, because we know the inevitability scientifically that this could happen. And this is why we're going. That's why Trent and I are going out to meet this guy, to shake his hand, to say, hey, you know, whatever. Hey, well, you need the 5 things. By the way, you need these 5 things. We're going to go tell him these fucking 5 things. And here's a house. Just remember, you know, gift. And remember just 5 things at the end of the day. Okay, because again, see that Trent? He doesn't talk about the moon being the counterweight. Okay, because there's a theory. Okay, Thoth, the Thoth guy that brought the Hermetic principles to the people that somehow, somewhere, he brought this idea that I explained to you, like it's like no big deal anymore. But it took me a long time to memorize what the 7 principles are, that I could just whip them off like this. Okay, polarity is the one that's really tough, because we're in a day-night cycle. We're in a half brain hemisphere, left brain, right brain. It's a battle royale in the fucking pineal gland. Okay, the fucking battle is in the pineal gland. It's not really out there. It's in our fucking consciousness. Okay, it's for us to find a way through the battle to the peaceful endeavor, and realize by looking. Now, did any of these people look at that Dymaxion map? I want to see if anybody's paying attention. Are they looking at the map before they comment? Somebody make a comment about the map and show me you're actually looking at this thing. If you're really there, I mean, I'll stay on a little longer. Otherwise, I got to go sleep. Sleep. I got work to do. Anyway, turn it up. Like, get that. Take a screenshot of that. I invite anybody who's watching, take a screenshot of that map. Study it. Spaceship Earth. Put your mind on this thing. Realize how much we have here. This is the first thing. The first rule is gratitude. Gratitude will set up the chemical reaction in your brain to switch everything off. It starts with gratitude. Then it transfers.
Damon in here?
Yes.
Yeah.
You know your bike's in the garden, right?
Yes.
Okay, I didn't like it's dark and stuff. I didn't know if you were here or if you walked back, right? Just let you know.
Yeah.
You want me to
Nice.
bring it over here so it's closer?
I don't mind, or whatever.
The garden's kind of sketchy. I'm just saying.
All
right.
I'm cool.
Garden sketchy now it is. Before it was easy. Now it's fucking sketchy. Yeah, it's funny how people conjure stuff. You see that kind of thing? It wasn't really sketchy, but now it is. Okay.
But yeah,
But he's going to help out, so it's going to be good. Now you got people touching now the whole other cataclysm. As above, so below. In the whole cause and effect thing, there's a ripple that just went through the whole.
Oh no,
fucking
that's
thing,
the whole
right?
octopus.
I mean, that's the
Okay?
whole octopus, right?
That's the
We
whole
have to
we
accept
already
that.
talked about the octopus.
So anyway,
The
we're taking a little long.
octopus
This is
flows.
great. Fun time to have. I mean, it is kind of fun. I mean, it's a little frustrating, a little bit, you know. But
No.
Starbucks is not interested in diversity. Diversity, that's the one. Okay, diversity, equity, and inclusion are what you use when you're building a stock portfolio that's going to be a winning stock portfolio. Okay, diversity, equity, and inclusion. Each one of these has their own type of thing. Some stocks are diverse and they're very low yield, but they get slow growth. BlackRock is a master at the diversity. Okay, it has so many parts and so many different companies. It can't really lose. It keeps equilibrium. It's so everywhere, right? So if you take one or two, like these techs or so forth, they go up and down. They're volatile because they're bringing up new ideas or so forth. It's not really something you can bet on. You know, and Elon Musk loves to manipulate the market through emotional rhetoric, because that's obviously what he thinks he can do. He's got power in that. He thinks he can say something and make the price drop. He thinks he can say something and make it rise. He really feels like he's strong that way. That's why he likes to do it. Just fuck with us. All these guys are doing that kind of thing. They're all in the BlackRock. They're all in the balanced pool, but they're fucking with the commodities and the rest of us. It's a pure terror. Okay. So anyway, equity, the 5 things, they apply to every living thing here. So we all win when everybody wins. Can't be killing each other if you want to play that game. So moving forward, we've come to a different consciousness. The consciousness is of plenty. The consciousness is of forgiveness and love. And that does not include killing anybody. So I can't sign up for that. That's how I'm going to fight it. Anything else out there, Renee?
2 people said that they've never heard of the map before and they wanted to know like how to spell it. They don't,
Dymaxion map, spaceship Earth, just, it's right there. Dymaxion, Dymaxion. Dymaxion. So Dymaxion car, it came with it's like a futuristic way of discussing a shape. And since Buckminster Fuller was on the cutting edge and he was developing the shapes and the new language to describe the stuff that he was talking about. So that's why we love him so much, because he really had the ideas and he brought also this new language. So the language is whole systems design. Whole systems together make a better result. If you separate them out, you start to cause stress. So if you're just dealing with housing and you don't bring the water and the food and the jobs, you can't sustain the housing. And so what I saw was a lot, the pattern was to go out and way overbuild before there was any industry to actually pay the rent. And then they would bring the industry later, like the sprawl of LA was just going to continue to rise forward. But now we have to go back. I haven't even been down to LA since the fire. It's pretty much war torn. And that is an area where we should be, focusing on, moving forward. I don't know if we're going to do one thing, if we can do one small thing to move a person closer to a house that they want to live in, or help bring the conversation about what we need to replace these old houses with. The ones who burn down need to be replaced by some new technology that do not burn down in the next fire. I think that's a basic standard. If we can introduce that type of thinking to the people who are rebuilding, then we're going to be providing a huge service. One person or 100 people or 1,000 or 100,000, hopefully everybody gets a chance to look through this idea, see my board of directors, read my book, and then come and come up with a new way of rebuilding.
And see the pure good communication through the technology with everything that's happening that needs to come to be.
Well, why don't we get these robots?
Yes.
The
All
robots that Elon is building can easily build houses.
Yes.
They know how to build houses. They can go and hit their fingers with a hammer. They don't need to. People don't need to do that. Give me
just
5
to spread
robots.
just to spread what you're saying.
But here's what I'm telling you.
Out.
Check this out.
Absolutely.
Give me 5 robots and 5 Mexicans to teach the robots how to work, and I will tell you, we got a fucking crew that will build a city. Mexican know how to work. Okay, these people know how to work. So,
well, a lot of people know how to work. Really, yeah.
Siri, go away. Siri wanted to come into the conversation. Fuck, somebody's listening. You see what I'm saying? Okay, so that's the point. Can you imagine those 2 things? That's something that we can do with artificial intelligence. How about going out in the strawberry fields with your AI personnel and explaining to them and having them work like you do as a Mayan, as a Guatemalan person, as a person who knows how to work, who knows how to work with community, who knows how to be in the field. And you're not in the field. You're with your friends while you're spending the day picking fruit. You're making money, but you're also having, who knows, in the days of in the South, the slaves, of course, would come together as in the fields, singing all day and really getting through the day with the harmonies and the tones and the rhythm. to get them through a day without suffering.
It's called tribal me.
Well, it's tribal them, and
Tribal,
tribal us.
but
Tribal
yes,
me
it's called a
is
tribe.
simple. I fell into that idea. I mean, I fell into a band
But,
called
yes.
Tribal Me that talks about the kind of way that we speak. That's tribal me first. Obviously, I'm a tribe of
But we
feelings
have
and
individual
stuff.
tribes,
That's right.
which is never going to end. But we have individual tribes, but we can have an understanding relationship and communication between tribes
Well, that's a law.
that does not
It's
have to
another
be
law.
conflicted and still have a global rule, which
Okay,
is
let's go.
supposed to be the
We're
united
we're an
rule.
hour in. Sorry, guys.
Yeah.
You know what? Get in here, subscribe. If you like this conversation, give me some of what I need to come back, and I will be back next week.
All tribes need to understand
And
tribes.
we'll have a special guest, or Dana will come back. You never know. See what kind of feedback, because he's a guy with a lot of shares and likes. He'll probably spread
We
this
love
around.
all tribes and everything around the whole world, and would like it all to be connected,
Okay, love
united,
first,
and
then
globally
forgiveness, and then
for the
we'll see you on the next
uplifting of all.
time. Okay, thank you.
If you're one of the very, very few people getting this message,